Hello and welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 26. It is July 22nd and the crazy Baltimore Bee-holes are 57 and 41, putting up a great record. That's only good enough for third in the division, but I am happy with the way we are playing considering a recent injury setback that we'll get into in just a moment. But first, Jackson Holliday makes the All-Star team at second base, the top vote getter there. Vladdy got the most votes in the American League, and I think Jackson Merrill had even more than him in the National League. Nobody else in the infield, however, Lars Nootbaar and Brenton Doyle both snuck in the outfield. And then Derek Skubal made the team. He may not be making an appearance. And Tanner Scott gets there for the relievers. And Emmanuel Clase, he got blacklisted somehow. I'm not sure what happened with him. I don't know. Well, we go back to the roster and we see that Derek Skubal is out for 6 weeks with a sprained elbow, and he's been pitching so good, and this is so very disappointing. But that's Out of the Park baseball. That's just baseball, honestly. So let's see who wins the home run challenge. Cal Raleigh beating Ronald Acuna 24-18. Nicely done. Uh-oh, what happened to Freddie Freeman? 3 months with a ruptured finger tendon. That's terrible. Okay. And we have a scouting pick. Jose Serna, nothing too cool going on there. In the All-Star game, Carlos Correa wins it for the American League. Let's check out that box score, see if anybody we care about did something cool. Not really. Looks like only 5 hits for the American League, so it was dominated by pitching for sure. Josh Hader with the save, good for him. Nothing big there. And we will finish out the All-Star break, and we'll go ahead and sim through these next 2 series against St. Louis and Miami and see what happens. And the trade proposals have started coming in. Yeah, not too interesting for us. Nobody with a bad personality, so nobody we care about. Let's make sure there's nothing wild going on here. Well, by the way, the Cardinals were trying to shop Edwin Diaz after just picking him up in free agency. Those St. Louis Cardinals, let me tell you, it's not a whole lot crazier than the stuff they pull in real life anyway. So, okay, we win the first game and the second game, and we sweep them, which is pretty nice. Nothing here. I think Jojo Romero's not a troublemaker. Wow, a lot of deals. I will go back and dig through those and see if there's any comedy gold in there. But, yeah, we're going to stop right here because I don't want to go past the trade deadline. I don't think there's anybody out there for us, but, you know, we have a couple slots on our team we could improve. So I will go check that out and get back to you. It is July 29th. The trade deadline is fast approaching. And ladies and gentlemen, we got it. So here's how the lineup looks now. Wynn stepping in at short is a godsend for us. We have waived Hechavarria and his $6 million. I'll see if I can offload some of that. Nootbaar still in left, Griffin in right, and Doyle in center. That's all the same. Holliday, Machado, Casas rounding out the infield. Cody Clemens has moved over to DH because he is hitting so well right now. An OPS plus of 141. We're going to see if that's closer to who he is as a player. And Bo Naylor is going to take a big step back. He's going to be getting the occasional start, catching, and he's going to do a little bit of work in the outfield and first base and pinch hitting when we need him to. Casey Schmidt, still kind of earning his keep. 122 plate appearances, 117 OPS plus. We're very happy with that. He is going to sometimes play short, but he'll be the main backup at second and third base. And then Jorge Mateo will also be our primary backup shortstop, and he'll get some play in at third base as well. So this is a better looking depth chart. I'm pretty happy to see this. If we slide over to the pitching, our ragtag group has come up and done pretty well. Not a lot of runs given up between them. Ben Shields has not had his first start yet. He should be up after Zach Gallen, and so we'll see how that goes. And one final deal before the trade deadline passes. We are just going to cut our losses and immediately move on from Bo Naylor. Could that be a mistake? Absolutely. He might have just slumped a little bit, lost some ratings. He might recover. We'll see how he does on the Giants. But I have an opportunity to pick up pitcher Shane Smith, who is a reasonably solid 2.5-star guy. And Jordan Hicks, mostly retained. We'll hold about $3.5-4 million on him next year. So that's looking pretty good. And the one thing we do have to take on is Robbie Ray and his portion of $25 million. Should be less than half of that because it's halfway through the season. So it's only this year. He is a free agent at the end of this year. So we're not committing to like a long-term salary dump situation. So we're going to immediately release Robbie Ray because, as we learned with Matt Brash, if I leave a player on my injured list and I forward one day, he begins to affect my team chemistry. And so we are just going to complete this, and then we're going to immediately release Robbie Ray. And yet another change to the depth chart. Things are a lot more simple now. I've gone ahead and brought up Nathan Church, who has amazing ratings for defensive backup. Not much going on with the bat, but he is hitting okay in the last couple of years in AAA. So that's fine. Jorge Mateo is just going to be a straight super utility man. He's going to back up, secondary backup for every position. Schmidt is going to back up the infield, and we will leave it at that. Over on the pitcher side, I have brought up Jordan Hicks, and I have immediately demoted Ben. Oh gosh, I've even forgotten his name already. I'm trying to get that out of my mind, as I'm sure he has. Ben Shields. He was so rancid in his first outing, giving up 7 runs, that we just went ahead and sent him right back down to AAA. So good job, Ben Shields. Shane Smith, I would like to get him up into the majors as soon as I can. I'm going to wait until one of my pitchers I've recently promoted is having somewhat of a rough time, and then I'll give them a break back down in AAA, bring up Shane Smith, and then we'll see who is the best choice moving into the playoffs. And one day has gone by, trade deadline has passed. Lars Nootbaar out for 5 weeks with a hamstring strain. So we have brought up Trey Sweeney. He's actually just going to start in left field for us, and we're going to see how that goes. And let's look at the player development update. Troy Taylor, reliever. He is a potential 3.5-star guy now. That's where it looked like it was headed. I'm not sure who Derek Bender is, but he is one of my guys, so pretty happy to see some improvement there. Griffin Burkholder, a guy I care about. He's declining a little. And Kevin Guerrero. Okay. So a guy in high A, looks like he's getting a lot of positive changes. He may have some good trade value later. And in our international complex, this catcher, yeah, we'll just have to see what develops with him. Okay, nothing too consequential there. Let's double check our emails. I'm never going to win one of these awards, am I? Okay. David Festa. That's a guy I've kind of wanted. That's okay. We'll look to grab him from the Twins at some point if we can. Oh, no wonder he's pitcher of the month. They got him down in high A. My gosh. All right, as we sim into the first week of August, 104 games have been played. We're taking on San Diego at home. And we've been on a bit of a roll. A win and a win. And what a sweep. Let's take a look at the offense here. Griffin Conine getting in there 2 for 4 with a home run. Machado Win also pitching in with a home run. Very nice right off the bat. See him playing well. David Peterson apparently back up to 3 stars. He's been pitching great this year. And good start to August. We will check back in later in the month and see if we are still competitive in the division. It is August 26th. Things have been a little spotty for us, and now they're about to get more spotty because we're losing another starter. David Peterson suspended for 6 games for some kind of fight. Just an on-field ruckus, just ruckusing around, no problem. Okay, I saw injury and Rodriguez, and I freaked out. But it's not Grayson, it's Eduardo. So, who is going to come in and play for David Peterson? And can I... Hold on. I forget how suspensions work. Can I not demote him for that? Do I lose the roster spot? Let me see if I can demote him. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, let's go find a pitcher. So Gage Wood was recently promoted to AAA, and I'm really tempted to throw him in there for a game or two at the major league level. So I'm going to do it. Do we not have room on the 40? Okay. 40-man roster. Who can come off this? Oscar Colas. Yeah, you can. It's been a while for you, my friend. Everybody else I think I want to leave on Plasmeyer. How do we feel about Plasmeyer? I think we can go ahead and take him off the roster. And now Gage Wood, welcome to a contract. And let's see. You know what? We're going to put Zach Gallen as our 3rd starter. Jordan Hicks is our 4th starter. And how is Jordan Hicks looking? Okay, it is going to be Wood. All right, Gage. You are up next. It's always exciting when a first pick prospect you really like is going to play in their first major league game. So let's sim that out and cross our fingers against the Blue Jays and Reed Detmers. 4-1. Gage, what did you do, buddy? Oh, they threw in Zach Gallen. Well, there's a letdown. I mean, it's not a letdown. Great game, Zach Gallen. But I had assigned Gage Wood to pitch today, and AI just decided, no, let's not do that. But next time, it should be Wood. Actually, it might be Hicks because he's rested. You know what? Jordan Hicks, you go ahead and take the ball. Now, Tarek Skubal is down in AAA doing a rehab assignment. So he'll be up in 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how things go. So let's play Tampa Bay. And that was a very solid performance by Jordan Hicks. Only 3 Ks, but 6 scoreless innings. Champlain and Scott took it home reasonably well. And a home run by Machado. Nice job, Machado. All right, this is it for real. Gage Wood's first major league appearance. And a 5-4 victory. Okay, it was Grayson Rodriguez. Maybe this is a bad omen. Maybe I should stop assigning Wood in the order because they're just never going to let him pitch. But nice performance by Grayson Rodriguez. Oh boy. Now this is being built up way too much, and it's really not that exciting, to be honest. So who is actually pitching? Logan Webb, apparently. Okay. Well, Logan Webb, go for it, buddy. On August 31st, a game we really need to win against Tampa Bay because it's difficult to stay competitive in this division. And the saves are taking longer each time. And we lost 6-0. So Webb gave up 4 runs in 6 2/3. Not the worst thing in the world. So what happened? Player development update. Let's check it out. Will Vest looks like slipping a tiny bit. Ferrer slipping more than a tiny bit. Losing 2 miles an hour. And losing pitch movement. That is horrible. He's a lefty. I need him. Nobody else that I've been keeping too terribly close an eye on. Roster expansion time if we want the extra slots. And hey, Tink Hintz. He's pitching well in the majors. Good for him. I wish he had a bad personality so I could play him. And Cade Smith in the American League is the pitcher of the month. Okay, one more against Tampa Bay. And a 5-4 victory. And there we go. Gagewood finally gets his first start. He actually got beat up a little bit. 3 earned runs in 4 2/3 inning. He had good run support, and he had good support on the back end in the bullpen. Clase with his 37th save. And Tanner Scott seems to be thriving in this middle relief role. It's very interesting. I would not have expected this, but the AI kept insisting and insisting on throwing him in middle relief, and so that's what we're doing. Quick Yasiel Puig update. I love this. So he's playing an indie ball. He hit 392, 1100 OPS. You know, no big deal. Some more rough injury news. Cody Clemens is going to be out with a broken kneecap for the rest of the season, so that's very unfortunate. Newbar and Skubal are still on their rehab assignments. Cabrera, I went ahead and waived and DFA'd after he completed his minor league assignment. Hopefully we don't lose him because I'd love to keep him around. And unfortunately, I have no choice, even though Newbar's only had 4 at-bats. We're going to have to take the risk and bring him right back up. So hopefully this doesn't result in terrible tragedy. He's going to slot into DH, so he won't be running around the field. So hopefully that will help keep him uninjured. Gagewood had his second start, and he got smacked around a bit. Okay, so at least Clemens got hurt in a game. It wasn't a storyline injury where he was chasing a cat into traffic or something wild like that. But we are on a 2-game losing streak. We're 5 games behind with a 76-61 record. This is an absolutely brutal division. Let's go ahead and look up the standings. So now it's the Rays on top, who are barely losing. And in fact, they're tied with the Dodgers at 80 wins, and only Cincy and Atlanta are ahead of them. But we've got some work to do if we want to catch up. We are well ahead of Detroit for that last wild card spot, so that might end up saving us. But for now, let's sim out a few games. And it's nice to beat Cincy. Terrible to lose to the White Sox. Very shameful. And an 11-5 victory. And finally, before our rest day, which we sorely need, and we win again. So what happened in this 7-2 victory? Pitching-wise, Logan Webb went 7 2/3, 7 Ks. Nice job. Tanner Scott holding it down. Triple for Brenton Doyle. Home run for Griffin Conine. So now might be a good time to check into the lineup, see how everybody's hitting it. Nothing super crazy going on there. We are at 130, 141. So 21 games left. And here's where we stand. Jackson Holiday leading in WAR. Mason Wynn had already put up a good amount for St. Louis, but he is kind of on fire for us. 1.2 WAR in 142 plate appearances. He's averaging 302 for an OPS plus of 115. And I'm curious how he's doing on the base paths. He's 18-1 in steals, Jackson Holiday, I can't get as aggressive as I'd like. I keep adjusting him up, and he just won't steal more. But Brenton Doyle's stealing a lot, as is Jorge Mateo, which is very nice. And Lars Nootbaar getting in and swiping. Manny Machado, we are going to pair him back because he's just getting caught too much. And let's check home runs. Griffin Conine hitting 30 this year. That helps make up for the 17,500,000 strikeouts. Still positive OPS, even though he's putting up no WAR, so probably spotty on defense. Brenton Doyle hanging in there. Almost a league average hitter. When he's doing that, that's fantastic. Trey Sweeney struggling ever so slightly in left field, but that is okay. We're going to leave him out there for the time being. Let's see who's putting up a good batting average and who's walking. Tristan Casas, as his I rating would suggest, picking up a lot of walks. Jackson Holiday walking more this year, which is excellent. And Henry Davis still getting hit by every single baseball pitch. Couple more changes. On offense, I'm bringing Casey Schmidt into DH because he's hitting them and Trey Sweeney's not. So Sweeney will take over the infield utility role, and he will be my backup DH. But Casey Schmidt hitting him pretty well for a 110 OPS. Good enough to go ahead and jump into that DH spot for now. Make sure left and right match. And then Skubal is back. He had 3 starts. He did fine in the minors, and we need him. So he's going right back to the top of the rotation. And it looks like he'll probably be starting next, though the computer might just start out Jordan Hicks for some odd reason. But hopefully it'll be Skubal. Everybody with an ERA in the 3s, which is nice. David Peterson's back. And to make way for all that, Zach Gallen has slid over into a long relief emergency starting pitcher role. I've given him 140 innings. That's 6 ERA. It's just not cutting it. He's giving up too many home runs at 1.7. And he hasn't even been all that unlucky with the BABIP. Guys are just hitting him. So he's going to languish over there for a minute. And Tanner Scott's staying in middle relief. Troy Taylor has moved up from mop-up duty up to middle relief because he has just been on fire for us. And so we're going to try to go ahead and ride that momentum. Hopefully it's not random variation. Hopefully it is something that sticks. So let's play the Giants. And a 4-5 loss in the 10th inning. Skubal gave up 2 earned runs in 6. Maybe not back to his best form just yet. All right, who is DFA'd? First of all, we won our game today. Very nice. But let's see who's DFA'd. Oh, yeah, Edward Cabrera. Let's throw him in AAA. I've got a ton of players in AAA and AA right now. We'll have to do something about that. But back to it. And last game against San Francisco, we really needed that one. Okay, let's check the standings. So Tampa Bay, we've got a series coming up against them. We're way far behind, but it would be nice to make up some ground on them. The only people who can catch us in the wild card right now are going to be the Cleveland Guardians, and they are a threat, so they can always catch fire. They've got some talent. So let's take this series off the Angels. And Logan Webb ends a quality start streak. Oh, great. Thanks for letting me know. And Manny Machado out for 3 weeks. Oh, boy. Okay. Oakley Dokley. Clemens out. Machado out. That's a lot of our power in the lineup out. Who's going to come up? Is it time to call up Austin Charles? It sure as heck doesn't look like it. But do I have anybody else, really? Oh, God. Okay. Come on up, Zach Geloff. Welcome back to third base. Oh, my. Let me remind myself of how he did last time he was up with us. I mean, he hit 240. It's whatever. It's not the worst thing in the world. And let's go ahead and just regenerate those lineups, see if we like them. I mean, fair enough. I suppose that'll all work out. Okay. Back to the grind. Let's check a couple emails, make sure the world didn't collapse. A little prospect action. And yeah, Otani got hurt, by the way. He's probably out for the season, right? Looks like he might just make it back for the end. He hasn't been all that productive this year. And we really need this game off the Angels. Okay, and we take it 4-0. Skubal, excellent job. 6 Ks, 4 hits, 2 walks. Very good performance. Tristan Casas and Henry Davis going deep. And old Nathan Church here. You know, when I said I needed a backup center fielder and I knew his bat wasn't too great, I wasn't expecting him to hit 163. I was expecting him to hit like 230. That is tough. Okay, so the Braves clinch the postseason. Great for them. And now this is an all-important series against Tampa Bay. Let's see who's pitching. Okay, it's going to be Hicks, Peterson, and then probably Zach Gallen. A little hard to say. Crossing our fingers, we need at least 2 of these. Okay, 11-8, that'll work. All right, we're going to win that series. Very nice. Keep a couple of shorebirds retiring. I don't think I cared about either of these guys. Actually, I think Freeburger did have a bad personality, but not worried. Okay. Crow Armstrong has been tearing it up this year. 32 home runs, hitting 302. That's awesome. I love playing the Cubs just so I can play with Pete Crow Armstrong. It's fantastic. And he's only getting better in this game, which is very cool. All right, let's go ahead and clear all these messages. And a sweep. How beautiful. How beautiful was that sweep? And that should have been Skubal pitching. No, it was Grayson Rodriguez. He went 103 pitches, 6 Ks, 7 innings. Not bad at all. Jackson Holiday. Was he the hero? No, Griffin Conine was the hero, but Holiday set it up with a 2-run homer earlier. Pretty great. Okay, so let's check our standings now that we have swept the Rays. The Red Sox have immediately filled that void, and we are still 3 games behind. But we are trying to take on the world here, so it's not the easiest thing. I'm going to pause and come back with some more games. There are 9 games left in the regular season. The next 2 series are extremely important. We've got a 3-game set in Boston and then in New York for 3 games. So we have to perform very well there. Boston has already clinched a wild card. We essentially have our magic number for a wild card is like 1. So what we want to do is sweep Boston, and then we can really make a play at winning the division, get that extra rest, and not have to play that extra playoff round. But it does look like, unless the world turns on its head, the Baltimore Beeholes are going to make the playoffs for the 2nd year in a row in a very tough division. So super happy about that. And then we'll round it out with a series against KC. Hopefully that won't be anticlimactic. Skubal has the ball for Game 1 against Boston. Let's see how that turns out. And we win 10-3. I'm sorry, it was Grayson Rodriguez this time. I never know who's pitching. I don't know what's going on here. But 106 pitches, 6 innings, 8 hits, 9 Ks. A little bit of a shaky performance, to be honest, but our offense was there. Wynn, Casas, Henry Davis with 2 home runs. Very, very nice. And that does clinch us a playoff appearance. And let's see what everybody else did. Okay, we're a game and a half back of Boston, so we can pass them. And if the Yankees would be so kind as to lose, as with the Rays, then we've got a real shot at winning the division outright. And a win against Boston. David Peterson with a pretty solid 5 innings and 8 Ks. And the bullpen, all 4 of them, they come through. Clase with his 44th save. He's probably on his way to a reliever of the year win if the game pays him any mind. He did get snubbed at the All-Star break, which was crazy. And let's play this third game against Boston. Oh, what a time to come alive. So we are 90 and 66. Skubal takes him 6 innings, 9 Ks, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 hits, but still a pretty good performance. And Zach Geloff, good job pitching in, Zach Geloff. He's actually been on fire since he came back, and he's playing third base every day now. So great for him. Now, we're going to have a decision in a minute because Machado is going to be coming off of the IL. And I know we just put him right back in. Obviously, that's what you do. But, man, you almost just don't want to take the bat away from Geloff. You know what I mean? And September's rolling on by. Get to read the little... Anytime you get to read the quote up here, you know your save's taken just a little too long. And a player development update. Drew Lafferty I care somewhat about. I love that his potential ratings have gone up. That's very good. He's in AA. And Griffin Burkholder's power dropping. I don't know. He's kind of treading water. How's he actually playing? I mean, a little better. His defense is holding up his overall productivity. Okay, so that's not too bad. Pete Crow, batter of the month. 337, 11 home runs. 434 on base. That's awesome. Is there anybody who doesn't like this guy? I bet you there's like 5 people, and they're the most miserable people in the world, and they have this little club where there's like, we don't like Pete Crow Armstrong, and everybody else loves him. And they should. All right, big series against the Yankees. And we stay hot. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's like, I don't know, 10, 11 out of our last 12, something like that. I can't do math. I'm just super happy that Tristan Casas hit 3 home runs. And Brent Rooker, possibly the most powerful man in the game right now, is out. And in this 12-3 victory, Logan Webb pitched quite well. 1 run, 1 earned run. Yeah, 1 run total, 3 hits, 5 Ks. And Schmidt and Conine hit 2, and then Wynn hit 1. So it was home run day. And where does that leave us? Because I think we're in first place now. We are a half a game clear of the Red Sox. Yankees are so far back they don't matter. Very interesting. I would say we stand somewhere around a 50% chance of winning the division at this point. So we're pitching against Clark Schmidt. And, ooh, do we get battered. Grayson Rodriguez gets taken to Pound Town. Unfortunate. Sounds like Jazz Chisholm had a great day. What did he do? Yeah, 4 for 4 is not so bad, is it? No RBIs, though. Funny. Okay. Well, we are still in first place, so a win here would be very, very, very good for us. And naturally, we lose. Okay, so we're half a game back in second place to the Rays, not the expected Red Sox, who have also lost 2 games in a row. So let's see who Tampa Bay is playing. I am curious. Whoops. What did I do? So they're playing Toronto, and Toronto is an under 500 team. And KC about the same as Toronto. So it's a fair matchup. Let's see who's pitching. Tarek Skubal, and then our pitchers are getting a little tired. Webb and or Peterson in some combination in the next 2 games. That is pretty good. Let's see if Zach Gallen's calmed down a little bit over here. Not really. Okay, big game against KC. Well, OOTP giveth and it taketh away. Very unfortunate. So we are going to have to battle it out in the wild card. Let's go ahead and finish these games up against KC with a victory. And a victory. So 93 wins this year. So not bad at all. Let's go ahead and check those final standings. Very close. Game and a half back of Tampa, and actually somehow tied with the Yankees. That's interesting. But I guess we had a head-to-head record over them, it sounds like. But anyway, we are going back to the playoffs. Very excited about that. I'll review the year's statistics and things like that, and then we'll see if we can take down a World Series. So we'll call that apart, and thanks so much for watching again. Please join me next time. So long, and take care.